Welcome to the 7 Minute Sting, a series about the Australian Stingrays and the women who will make it great. I'm Mike Neild and I'm glad you're here. Today I'm very lucky to be joined by Angela Pidgeon, a woman who is a two-time stingray and it's hard to miss. It's literally quite hard to miss. You just throw it down there and she will get it. Ange, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, Ange, this is your second time on the Australian Stingrays, the 2023 current campaign and the 2021 domestic campaign. What do you recall from that time 2 years ago as part of that time?
I'll definitely say the very first memory I have was when I got the call from the selectors saying I made the team. I remember I was at work and I was extremely nervous for the call.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this call will either like make my day or break my day. But luckily I got awesome news. I made the team and like Stingrays was my first preference. So I was so ecstatic. But then as we all know, it went into COVID. So the tournament didn't end up going through. But I thought it was so special that even though there was COVID and everything kind of stopped, we still had this team that had already been selected. And even though we weren't going overseas to compete, we had a lot of online sessions together. And I think that was just really special because everyone wasn't doing anything, but we had like these little moments to like look up to, like look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Danny hosting a session and it was about like mental strength and resilience. And that was really that kind of really applied to what we were all going through. And so it just felt really amazing to be a part of something and knowing that there were, 20 other women that were in my position. And even though we only met online, like it's just so nice having, just like those online friends. And now I know people that I wouldn't have known if I wasn't a part of that campaign. So, yeah.
It's easy to dismiss those couple of years, those couple of COVID years and things that happened inside them. But what you're saying is that you actually can't. You can't dismiss this. It was important and real.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it took up almost 2 years, it's a very long time. So I thought it was so amazing to have that and be able to look forward to it and just have others that were still training at that time as well. Like we didn't want to just sit around and do nothing. We thought a few of us had this campaign to look forward to. We were the fortunate ones. Some others didn't because they were like the last age bracket for that year. But yeah, we were training together. We could motivate each other when we weren't feeling it. And I think the other weekend, actually, it was funny because I didn't know this person, unless it was through like this online call that we had. And then I saw her on the field at a tournament and we both kind of looked at each other being like, oh, we're online friends, but then we've actually never met each other in real life. And then we had a chat and it was great. And I admired her on the field and I guess we ended up marking each other a bit. And it was just great being able to be like, oh, I know you. And we've spoken together. We were on the same team. And it was very nice for it to kind of come together in real life.
So good, Ange. So good. I want to ask you about a similar theme that you've identified there, this teammates and also opposition deal. We're in an interesting phase of our 2023 campaign where you're spending way more time with your club team playing against your Stingrays teammates at regionals, at tournaments. And there's 23 of us on the team and there's only 3 of you on your current club team. What has that been like playing against the Stingrays as well as being with them?
Yeah. Honestly, I got to say I love it.
Really?
Just in the sense that I think when you're in club season, like you often see the opposition as like the enemy, like you want to beat them. But it's so nice when you go to tournaments now, especially interstate tournaments, and you see friendly faces in the opposite team and you're like, oh, hello, like so good to see you, since we don't often get to interact if we're like, interstate players. And then I think it's just really special when you see like someone, even if they're not on your team, like you see someone on the opposite team and they've just done something absolutely awesome, or they've shut down one of my players, or they've just scored a massive goal, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that she's on my team for Stingrays, and that like I'm so excited to play together, and just knowing that you'll play together on the same team. So yeah, it's always nice just knowing more people in the community as well. It always just feels like a bit more you feel more involved and just a bit more excited. And I think just getting around each other in the lead up, because we're all training really hard in our separate clubs. So I think it's really good to celebrate when we do something awesome on field, even if it's against each other at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's either the best of both worlds or the worst of both worlds, but it sounds like you've got a best of both worlds approach
Yeah,
going there.
true, true. Not a lot of people can say that. They would be proud that someone else on the other team did something cool.
Yeah, that's right. There's a minute and a half left here, Ange. We're going great. I want to ask you kind of a big question, but maybe it's a small question as well. Why do you play Frisbee?
Good question. I grew up doing a lot of individual sports, a lot of athletics and dancing. And so the first time I went into Frisbee was the first time I was thrown into a group team setting.
Mm.
And I think ever since I played my first team, like there was no way I could go back. I loved having like my teammates to rely on. There's nothing like winning a universe point or even losing a universe point and having your teammates around you all feeling the same feeling. And I think that's just something so special that the Frisbee community has. And yeah, I love playing Frisbee. I love the athleticism involved. I love the high grabs, the layout catches, everything's all very exciting. So yeah, once I started playing Frisbee, there's no way I could ever go back. So I love the sport.
Yeah, you sound like you do, and it shows on the field that you're a bit of an excitement machine yourself. So it's obviously where you trend to go, which I can respect. In 10 seconds, Ange, what's next for the Stingrays?
Winning, success, glory, absolutely. We have a tournament coming up next weekend, this weekend, and I'm so pumped for us to win. We've got it.
You paint a powerful picture and you are a powerful individual. Thank you very much for being on the 7 Minute Sting.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Bye, mate.